Hey, welcome to Musings episode number 297. Got a lot
Yep.
of cool things going on, so we probably should just kick it off. So, Scott, you got something new to share.
Oh, a little. Been playing around with TikTok, so this is a video for TikTok for Team Titans of Real Estate. Here we go.
Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out. I'm on the big stage. I got my crew. I'll get you moving. It's what I do. The party's starting. It's going down. Let me show you what it's all about. Check it out. I'm gonna light it up. Yeah, I'm gonna light it up. Check it out. I'm gonna light it up. Yeah, I'm gonna light it up.
There we go. Anyways, that's Team Titans of Real Estate. Why? Because you matter. That's right. Jill and I, we have fun while we do real estate, and I thought that video captured a little bit of the fun that we like to have with our clients. Because as we always say, we make our relationships our number one priority. So if you have anybody who's looking, even considering to do any kind of real estate transactions this year, give us a call, 586-232-5144. I cannot tell you how many times we come across people who decided to do it on their own or call the person on the sign thinking they're going to get representation by using the listing agent. And then they come to us, oh, you're a realtor. And they start asking us for advice. You've already signed a contract with another realtor. We can't help you at that point. If you want our advice, use us from the beginning, and we can legally assist you that way. Just know, calling the person on the sign does not necessarily mean you're getting the best deal. A lot of times people are like, oh, well, they could negotiate their commission or whatever. Just know they are legally obligated to the seller, and they're trying to get the best deal for the seller. And yeah, you might be able to negotiate a little bit off of their commission, but we might have been able to negotiate a lot more off the price. And that's why you want representation for you. If you were going to court, you wouldn't want to use the other guy's lawyer to help you for free. You want your own representation, and that's how real estate is as well. It's the largest investment you probably will make in your life. So give us a call, 586-232-5144. Jill Webler and I are here for you.
Alrighty then. Then we also have Loranger Family Chiropractic Center PC, located in Belleville, Michigan and Dexter, Michigan. They take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient, offering on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young limb essential oils, aromatherapy, full line of vitamins, all in a family-oriented environment. Give a call, 734-697-4244. Visit them online at lorangerfamilychiropractic.com or at Facebook, Loranger Family Chiropractic Center PC. Monday, I took a pretty nasty fall on some ice, and fortunately they were still open. So I checked myself, make sure nothing was broken, and then went to the chiropractor, had some x-rays done, and got it adjusted. And I'm doing much better within 2 days than I would otherwise. Because if I went to the regular doctors, they would have just said, well, here's take some pain meds and ride it out because nothing's broken. Where the chiropractors go in and actually look and see what's out of alignment, and they got stuff back in alignment for me. I've had 2 adjustments this week already. Main problem I have is my right shoulder and my right elbow. I did come down on a face, chest, and everything else. Fortunately, they said nothing was broken, didn't bruise my face or anything. So, but it's definitely something more than just a normal adjustment for me this week. This was a small injury. Fortunately, it was not a catastrophic injury or broken injury. So, but definitely check out Loranger Family Chiropractic Center PC. They'll take good care of you. Took care of me.
They did. We got Kevin chiming in here. Good morning, gents.
Mr. Kevin with his fully funded Kickstarter.
Fully funded, less than 12 hours. 12 hours, 10 minutes, I think it took.
All right.
It's an awesome time to hit our minimum goal. I just posted the link in the comments there. So you want to get in on the action, go check it out.
Yeah. We got 23 backers now. It's a great book. Both Scott and I are happy to be a part of this. We have artwork involved. In fact, that's Scott's Headless Horseman right there. Yep. And then here, let me run the video real quick.
All right.
Have another one of those real type videos. fantastic.
Yeah, there's over 50 illustrations in it, over 100 pages of content. And, you know those famous monsters that were shown there, but do you know about the people who created them? And that's what Kevin focuses on in this book. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's a fantastic thing. This is the 5th anniversary edition. There was an edition up before. It was both Scott and I were part of, but now this is the updated and everything
Where's
else.
right, there we go. That's the layout I was trying for.
Scott's like, I want to be front and center.
Oh, look, we can put ourselves that way too, where we overlap.
Yes,
I think that's a new layout. I don't remember that one.
They keep changing everything on the StreamYard. I love StreamYard. This has been our broadcasting since COVID, and
Actually, I like this layout.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
not too bad. Yeah, it works out pretty good. So you show stuff. It's good for us when we're showing videos and that trailers. So,
but so check it out. Where Kevin has a bunch of stretch goals that are going to be all part of this, and you know, depending on dollar amounts raised, number of backers, we're near the halfway point of number of backers to unlock the backer goal of 50. So go check it out.
Well, actually, there's 2 goals that we could hit pretty quickly. We get 25 more backers, and then also another $500. There's 2 stretch goals right there. We pull it down here at come on, stretch goals. Where are they at? There we go. Yeah, $1,750, and then everybody gets the physical reward of the 5x7 Frankenstein print by Kevin. And then 50 backers. All books will include a signed book plate with at least 3 signatures. So that's very doable, very easily over the next thing. So we get 25 more backers, and we'll easily blow past the money one too.
Want to point out this too. Is it Wachter? How do you pronounce his name? Wachter?
I think Wachter. Probably Wachter.
He is a phenomenal artist and very well established. He's working on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a bunch of other things, stuff for DC. And Kevin has original artwork by him available, and this is a steal. It really is at this price for his original art. So check it out. This is cover art. This is used for one of the covers here. You get the original 9x12 pen and ink wash, only $250. You get the book and the original art. So if you like collecting original art, these are some really awesome pieces here that you can get a hold of for an amazing price.
Yeah, let me show you. I want to pull up his. I pulled up his Instagram page here, and you can just see some of the work he's done.
Oh yeah, just beautiful work.
Just phenomenal work there.
If only they made MODOK look like that in Ant-Man.
Yeah,
that's MODOK.
Yep. And there's Ted. And that's a lot of great artwork he's done. He's got shared on his Instagram page. Oh, I don't want to log in. Yeah. Oh wow.
Be gone with you, Instagram.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure. We got
original art, and the price he's got. Kevin has on the original artwork that's in the Kickstarter is a steal, because if you wanted to commission Dave now for his original artwork, you're looking between $500 and $1,000 depending on what you're looking to get. He's an in-demand artist that did work on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's getting ready to work on Spider-Man, Kevin was saying, and he's worked on some other Marvel properties. So just a huge up-and-coming artist. So
for sure,
yeah.
So we'll check in at the end before we sign off, see where we're at with the Kickstarter.
Yeah, definitely
off to an amazing start.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, we need 27 more backers for the 50. So we can do it. There's like 30 more people that are still following that haven't pledged yet. So that right there is most of it. So
correct.
Yeah. So we didn't get a chance to chat last night. We did the live broadcast of launching the Kickstarter, and we kind of just chatted about that last night. So what's been going on, Scott?
Just been really busy real estate wise. We had a deal, a house go up for sale that we sold rather quickly, even through all this blizzard and snowstorms that we had, which you wouldn't tell with how nice it is outside right now. That was just a couple days ago, but so just been really busy doing that. And then movie wise, what came out? Something came out this week, but I didn't go see it.
Yeah, I didn't go to the movies this week.
This week. Go ahead.
Yeah, I worked. I worked Friday until the snow and that started hitting. Then I went home, and then I did try to work Saturday. Saturday is a quiet day for us because people were still without power. They were shoveling out. I got a few orders in, and then I called it a day because nothing was coming in. And I just didn't feel like sitting any more than the 2 hours I had. So, but I did work all day Sunday and Monday as people were starting to restock their fridge. Everybody's getting their power back because we had lost power from the ice storm. Snowstorm hits. They lost power again for a lot of people. Then they got it back. So DT did have a lot of crews in town ready to go from other states prior to the ice storm, and they've all been here since. So, and I've seen trucks everywhere, and they've been working. So it's just it takes a little time to get things done. So
yeah, it's definitely been very up and down with the weather, but
yeah, after a month,
will be here.
It's decided it's going to make it up at the end of February and March. It's just going to start slapping us all over the place.
Yep. Oh, I know. I haven't seen it myself, but I know a couple of friends who did see it. Cocaine Bear is getting a lot of good reviews from people I know, saying it was just a fun kind of B-level type horror, type cheesy movie, but they thoroughly entertaining.
Yeah, I've been hearing good things about that. I wouldn't mind seeing that one. I know Creed 3 came out.
Creed, that's getting good reviews. I personally I'm probably not going to bother with it.
I enjoyed the first two, but I didn't go see them in the theaters. And this one doesn't have Stallone, and he was actually completely cut out from it, even though it's his characters that they're using to create that. And
I don't mind so much him not being in it as Rocky, but it's his baby. He made this whole Rocky universe, and to me, he should at least be a part of the creative process, if nothing else. And I don't like that they cut him out of the whole thing. So I'm not crazy about that. And then another movie that's getting a lot of great reviews from people I know is Jesus Revolution. That one came out. So unfortunately, I just haven't had time this week to hit the movies. And then this week we got the Adam Driver one, the dinosaur one.
Yeah, 65 comes out. I did see, and I haven't watched it. I've seen some people talk about Operation Fortune. It's a Jason Statham movie.
Oh,
so we may have to
know about that one.
Yeah, so I have to pull that up as a trailer. We'll take a look at that.
What's it called?
Operation. I just lost it.
Oh, here it is. Hugh Grant's in it too.
Yeah. So
okay.
Here, let me see if I pull it up and watch the trailer. So we can get somebody that'll be mad at us for sharing their stuff for free.
The internet's become so stupid.
I know. It's like we had Universal. They put a thing against us a few weeks back, took it away, and then put it up again on another one of our channels for the same video. And it's just like, whatever, it's
you gave us free advertising.
I know. And it's like
you must be silenced.
Yeah. So
we should be like, okay, we'll send you an invoice.
Yeah.
We'll let you pay.
Well, and that's the whole thing. It's like, we're just promoting your stuff for free. If other people know we're not getting paid to promote this, so there's no confusion on that. So, all right, so let's take a look at this.
As a private contractor, you possess a unique set of skills. You said it was clear.
I said the front was clear.
Front, back, right, wrong. Anyway, shall we? I have another job for you. So what we got?
Greg Simmons.
It's a billionaire arms dealer.
Oh, a lot of very serious faces up here, aren't there?
You can't catch this fish with conventional lures. I'm sorry? The lure being? Danny Francesco. The movie star. Greg Simmons' favorite movie star.
And how do we get him?
Blackmail.
Who's to care?
Very good. Carry on. The world needs you for your greatest role yet.
Who are you?
I'm your new manager. There's a sensitive and awkward situation between you and your sister-in-law.
I actually love my sister-in-law.
Yes, Danny. You made that quite evident.
When marimba rhythms start to play,
No need to be nervous.
No reason to be nervous.
make me swing.
They're all the killers.
You're an actor. Act.
Would someone pinch me, please? Is that Danny Francesco? What's next for you?
I'm playing a mysterious self-made billionaire.
You just described me. Shadow me. Do whatever I do. Whatever I do.
Whoever Greg was buying from was amongst you last night. I can get inside of them.
Sway with
I hope you take them to dinner first before you get inside of them. Sexually.
When we swear
What happened?
You recognise your Lawson Fortune? That is a sexy name.
Cover's blown.
What do I do?
The movie star's gonna melt.
You stop Danny Francesco. You stop Greg Simmons!
You let me worry about that.
make me thrill as only you know how.
What are you going to do with that?
I'm gonna shoot at them, Danny.
So you weren't seen by anyone? Yes. That's a yes. You weren't seen by anyone? Yes. Or a yes, you were seen by someone? Yes.
Sway me now.
So you know what this movie's missing?
What's that?
The guy playing the actor, they should have cast either Keanu Reeves or John Travolta as themselves, and this could have been a sequel to the Nicolas Cage.
That's what I thought.
That it was that movie, wasn't it?
It feels a little bit like
It's that movie.
the Nick Cage movie.
Yeah.
What was that one?
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Exactly.
What they should have done is have it be John Travolta,
Yeah.
and then the next movie, you find out they're each other through Face Off.
Yeah. Well, Josh Hartnett's one that's playing that Danny Francesco. I ain't seen him in a while.
It would have worked with Keanu Reeves too, being himself.
I thought Josh Hartnett though was actually kind of almost channeling Pedro Pascal. He felt like he looked like Pedro from the Nick Cage movie. It looks good. I may have to go see it. Aubrey Plaza's okay. I like Jason Statham. Hugh Grant, it looks interesting. So,
it looks like a fun movie. Don't go in with much expectations. It's just there for a fun ride, and it'll probably be. I have a feeling it's going to be just like the Nicolas Cage one.
Yeah, it's a Guy Ritchie film, so it's going to be definitely over the top on the action and violence and that.
Well, and these are the type of movies I feel he does well. The fast-paced kind of heist movies, or the undercover spy movies. He tends to do those well. I thought it was a disaster when he did what did he do? King Arthur or whatever.
Yeah.
I did not like him doing those kind of movies.
No,
but I loved when he did the Cavill one, Henry Cavill. It was the spy one. He would
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Yes.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is great. He goes back recently though, because I pulled it up real quick. They mentioned The Gentleman. The Gentleman was great. That was Matthew McConaughey. I liked that one a lot. He did the Jason Statham Wrath of Man. That was a fun movie as well.
Yep.
Going way back though, Snatch is one of his earlier ones that people know for, and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. This one kind of was really getting going. Definitely The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I wish he could do another one of those. I enjoyed that a lot. He did do the Aladdin one. That's the Will Smith one. I didn't like that one, but that's because
he did that one.
The live action. What did he have a part of that? He did. Was he the director on that? He wasn't the director on that. He is part of it though. He's credited for it. So. He did. He did direct it. Yeah.
Oh,
but that was one of those movies that it's kind of a you're on like autopilot, because it's like, here's the script, stick to the script. It's a Disney thing, and the reason they're doing all these live action ones is that way they can take their copyrights and go another 90 years from now on that same story. So it's why they've been doing all this stuff, and most of them have failed miserably in terms of just quality. The problem with Aladdin really was Will Smith. He shouldn't have been the genie. They should have found someone that one could act and sing as the genie, where he can rap, but he can't sing. His singing was way off, and I think he would have been better. Someone else would have been better in that role. Even like if you go back and look at King, was like Chiwetel Ejiofor. He played, and he would have been better as the genie, than Will Smith, because at least he can kind of carry a tune.
Right.
So, but yeah, I like Guy Ritchie. I like a lot of stuff he's done over the years, and he's done some fun movies. I like when he does his own stuff versus taking on other franchises. So
he definitely has a stylized take that usually you can tell it's a Guy Ritchie film.
Yeah. And even with his Sherlock Holmes movies, you can tell they're Guy Ritchie films, and it's his take on Sherlock Holmes, which works because it's not taking an existing film property and redoing that. But it's, he does a good job of that. But the King Arthur one, he tried to reinvent that too much. And the problem with King Arthur is it gets reinvented way too much over the years now. And the last good King Arthur movie really was Excalibur back in 1980.
Yeah, I agree. They just haven't been able, which is interesting. You would think with like the quality of things like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and stuff, you think, but of course, same with Dungeons and Dragons. You would think Dungeons and Dragons could put out a good movie, but they just can't. I don't.
Oh, the problem is that people are trying to constantly reinvent it and make it their own. And, the Dungeons and Dragons, I mean, realistically, they could do some great stuff based on existing stories, but like this new one coming out, I'm just not thrilled about, because every time you see in the trailers, it just doesn't look like it's going to be that good.
Well, and with the medieval stuff, it's about the brutality, the struggle, the harshness of the landscape and surviving. It's not meant to be flashy and fast and show offy, And when you do that, it just doesn't feel right.
No, and that's part of the problem, and that's where I think it seems to fail a lot of that stuff. It's like if you want to do a good King Arthur story, then you need to go back to the best King Arthur book, which was Once a Future King.
Mm-hmm.
So he's at a post-op appointment.
Oh, very good.
Robert, hope you're doing well. Hope they
Yeah.
got your behind. Just kidding, since you like to be picked on. No, man, I saw you had some surgery done, and hope you're doing well, buddy. We'll see you in Indiana. I'll see you in Indiana, hopefully. So, go on,
for sure. That's awesome. Good to see you on here, Robert.
Yeah, so so King Arthur, like I said, What's Future King? That was a book I read in junior high school, somewhere in there, and for one of my English classes, which was funny because I got an A that marking period, and I had gotten a lower grade the one before when we did something with Shakespeare. And the reason is I really hate when people have to read out loud and they can't read out loud, and I spent half time just bored out of my mind.
Right.
Doing the Shakespeare stuff. But Once Future King, I think I read it the first weekend we had it, and then I had to keep rereading it the whole 6 weeks. I've read it like 5 times.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I may have to go pick up a copy and reread that one again. So if I don't have one in my library somewhere here.
Another thing I was hoping to see this week, but I just didn't have time, but I got to see the highlights. Did you happen to catch the Chris Rock special?
I did. I watched it live. And
did you?
Yeah. And now they had a pre-show, which was all right. The post-show, they were only showing live and will not be shown again, they kept saying. So that actually was a little insightful into the stuff he talked about. And it was kind of funny that he had Dana Carvey and was it Rob Schneider?
Schneider?
No. Who's Joe Dirt?
Oh, not Dana Carvey. That's I know who it is. I'm totally blanking.
David
Adam
Spade.
Sandler. Thank you.
Yeah. So you had, as they put it themselves, 2 white guys hosting the after special of an African-American comedian. But they are 2 of his best friends.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like uncles to his kids and vice versa and that stuff. So, and then on the panel, they had Arsenio Hall. I forget the actress's name. I've seen her around a little bit. I really don't know her that well. She was good. And then they had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and JB Smoove. JB, a lot of people know now as the guy that does the Caesars commercial. He plays Caesar for all that stuff. But he's been a comedian for years.
The casino, the online casino, Caesars.
Yes. So they gave a lot of great insight. I did like the fact that they asked Kareem about what he would have done if it had been him instead of Chris Rock. And he's like, well, Will Smith would not have walked up on stage on me. I'm a bigger man. And then JB Smooth like, yeah. He goes, you ever see Game of Death? He beat up Bruce Lee. He take that long leg and just right up on Will Smith's face. But yeah, he went. It was I liked his special fine. There were some things I was okay with. There's some things I was just like, whatever. Most of it, I don't felt it was as humorous as it was him letting every bit of anger of the last year come out in this special.
Yeah, for comedians, a lot of times their comedy is how they hit back. Kind of like Eminem, he'll use his rap to hit people back, and different things like that. Yeah. And you could definitely tell the emotion in there in the replay that I saw. You can tell he's had this in him for a while. But you know what? Good for him. He's smart. He's a smart businessman. He kept it all to himself during this year because he might as well get paid for it.
Well, he did his tour.
Yeah.
And he's and did a lot of different specials, stuff like that. And the thing is, like he talked about, and like all he said about, they all know Will Smith. I mean, he knew. I mean, he was a fan of Will Smith's Fresh Prince. Went and saw him at concerts. Had a lot of respect for him. He even admitted, he goes, I didn't know nothing about Jada on this, and it wasn't a slight against her. And even the other comedians on the panel in the after show said, no, that actually was not a negative against her. It was a strong comment, making her be a strong person, even though she had the bald head, and didn't know she had alopecia and stuff like that. But he called out what you and I talked about before, the fact that Will Smith is a cuckold. And she, they admitted on their show, he goes, these people took their dirty laundry and aired it all over. And then, he was looking for the smallest, person to hit. And it just happened to be him. So,
but even that, it's not even, in my mind, not even accurate in that Will Smith was laughing at that joke.
Oh yeah.
It was when he saw Jada's look.
Yeah.
So she sicked him on him. Jada threw that punch or that slap.
Well,
that was Jada slapping.
Oh yeah. And now she's come out this week saying that, she had nothing to do with that. That was not her doing. I'm like, no, it was in the long run. And if you pay attention to what Chris says, he laid out what led up to that point, and it goes back to their lives, airing their dirty laundry. And I like the way he put it. He calls it selective outrage. And that's what it was. Because he even admitted it. Will Smith was laughing, looked at his wife, then got up and
she gave the silent order.
Yep.
And he knew he was in trouble because he laughed.
Yep.
And there was supposedly something years earlier, some joke Chris Rock did or something that Jada didn't like. So I can't remember what it was though, but I read
he talked about in his special. She was mad at him for hosting the Oscars because, and this was part of his joke. He screwed up the joke live, but he said he started to say the emancipation, and he meant to say the concussion or whatever it was, or one of the movies he did. I think it was Concussion or something like that.
Yeah,
he wasn't nominated, and she was mad and wanted the Oscars boycott. Said he shouldn't host the Oscars because Will Smith wasn't nominated. But it was a crappy movie,
right?
And then he messed up. He admits during live, I messed up the joke. So when you go back and watch it, you can see that. And then he goes through and actually does the joke, finishes it up. He says, and I ended up watching Emancipation just to watch him get whooped.
And I think, was that the year? That might have been the year too. There was one of the years where Jada tried to create this outrage against the Oscars or something. And
well, he done 7 pounds, was it Concussion? He was doing all these dramatic roles, trying to get nominated. Yeah. That's all it was about. And she was coming out saying, look, they're not nominating any African Americans. Will should have been nominated, blah, blah, blah. And she went off saying how racist it is.
Right.
And it was just like, if they truly are about good films, you weren't making a good film.
Well, not to mention the panel that decides these things are some of the most liberal, open-minded people on the planet, according to them. I mean, if you can't win through them, then it's because your film wasn't good. But if I remember correct, at that time, Jada blew up the internet with her comments. Will knew nothing about it. He was in a flight going somewhere, and when he lands, he's like getting hit by all these reporters, and you could tell he was just like, what happened while I was in the air?
Yeah.
They're asking him, is everything racist? And he's like, oh. So he was blindsided by her then.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's, and that's the whole thing. They expect him to, she expected him to, win strictly on race alone. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. And he wins for King Richard, which I still have never seen. I really had no desire to see that. It's one of those films that, when it's based on a current real life people, I don't necessarily enjoy those. And, unless, and I, watching Serena and Venus over the years play tennis, two of the best tennis players ever. They've dominated the field, stuff like that. I really don't need to see when they were young kids and their dad was being their dad, because we saw how he was when they first came on the scene, because he was there at every match for the longest time.
Right.
So,
well, plus to be honest, I don't give a crap about Serena Williams anyways. I'm so tired of her and her BS. Like when Tom Brady, oh, well, if I was a white male, I would have. And it's like, you had a super huge career. What are you talking about? You had one of the most successful tennis careers in history. I don't know. It's like some of these people just need to find something to be victimized by, even though they're on top of the world. It's like she was making millions she probably makes more than any tennis person, definitely sponsorship wise, she makes way more than any other male tennis person. So no, she's not being held back because of her gender.
Yeah, I mean, she's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So I don't know. Be honest, I don't pay attention to her off the court or anybody really out of their field stuff much when they play sports because just do a good job, become
right. She's an amazing tennis player. I mean, personally, I really liked her sister. I like Venus better personally.
Venus is. I like Venus a lot. Serena definitely was a little more dominant on the court, but definitely Venus was no slouch. She's got her records too and everything.
Well, back then Venus was better at the start.
Off, yeah.
And then Venus had health issues. I can't remember what she had, but she had a lot of health issues. Mm-hmm. And then Serena really took off from that point.
Well, and if you look at their age, they're in their early 40s, and for women tennis players, that's like Brady playing into his 40s in football. So, it's not. This is not something that happens very often. Even men tennis players, a lot of them don't make it to their 40s because it is a very grueling sport. It takes a taxing on the body, and that's something they continue on with. And only really the top elite athletes, male or female, are going to last that long. So, but yeah. So
how was the rest of the special outside of him addressing the Will Smith stuff? Because it
was good. I mean, there was some stuff on there I liked. There was some fun stuff. He went after a lot of people, and a lot of it was, if you pay attention, it's a lot of social commentary, and it's a lot of things, calling out people. And it really, in a lot of ways, you look at this special as just what we've been hearing these last 10 years, especially is, it's tough to be a comedian these days, and really. The stuff you talked about, he talked about transgenders. He talked about Harry and Meghan Markle. He talked about mixed race people, and he talked about how you look at TV and white people will get mad because there's not any white couples. He goes, there ain't no black couples either. They're all mixed couples. Right. He's pointing out truths that are out there.
In a lot of ways, he's like Chappelle.
Yes, him and Chappelle, and I would reckon him and Chappelle are very much our current social commentators in the comedic world. Yeah. They don't hold back. They do take the flack, and they can handle it. They can handle the attacks verbally, and as Will Smith did to Chris Rock, physically at times. Even Chappelle's had people come try to charge him at stage, and they've handled that. But it's one of those things where comedy has evolved a lot over the years. And because of the woke culture, cancel cultures that are out there that don't like to be offended, that want to decide what is and what isn't racist based on what their views are today. These guys come out and say, look, comedy's comedy, funny's funny, and the thing is, if you can't talk about all this stuff, then you can't talk about anything, because all of that is all part of the world and all part of life. And it's just like South Park. You look at South Park, and they were chastised years ago when they did the Scientology stuff. I mean, Isaac Hayes quit the show, mad because they made fun of everything else. And they called him out and said, look, you're a hypocrite because you made fun of every other religion on here. And the minute we came to the Scientology, you take an offense to it. No, we make fun of everybody independently, completely, and no regard. We're not going to not say what one group's fine, one group's not, because that's not comedy. Comedy's comedy on this stuff. And if you don't like what somebody says, great, don't listen to it. That's what I've always told people. Just do your own thing. But to constantly come out and say, I'm going to keep bringing this up and talking about it because I'm mad and I want to be mad. So, right here. Yeah, George Carlin, Richard Pryor attacked everyone. Yeah.
What the left doesn't understand, because they're so wrapped up in being butthurt all the time, is comedy is one of the most powerful tools. I mean, going back to George Jefferson and Archie Bunker and all that, those shows would be banned today. But it was through comedy that they opened up dialogue in a way that through laughing you disarm people. Yeah. And they open up to listen. And
that is definitely
a powerful tool.
Great point with Archie Bunker. They had on there Sammy Davis Jr. And he goes to take a picture with Archie Bunker, and he plants a kiss on him. That was a huge thing, big deal back in the early 70s. And it wasn't that he kissed him romantically, kissed him on the cheek and all that stuff. And it was like, okay, here's this racist white man being kissed by a black man. And they dealt with that as the issues and all that stuff. And that was the thing and you look at the George Jefferson, how he evolved from Archie Bunker to, the Jeffersons, and they dealt with the racism and different issues going up. I remember watching an episode of, Jeffersons, and, they dealt with little things so subtly but also right in your face. He's out in the country somewhere, and they meet up with this old farmer guy, white guy, and he wasn't being racist, but they said, "Have you seen?" I forget what it was, and I remember the guy looked at him and goes, "Oh, not in a coon's age." And of course, they look at him because they're black. You don't call them coons, but country folk, a coon was the raccoon. That's what it was. It wasn't about the black folks, and so it's all about dealing with those things, how they're used, how they're interpreted, and in fact, fighting back on racism and making fun of it. Because if you can't laugh at it, then it becomes oppressive. And I've got that with Pastor Coleman. He's African American. I'm white. Him and I had traveled different places around the country, and we've seen some different racism. In fact, we saw one time in West Virginia, we were about 10 feet apart, and he was ahead of me, and an older white woman walked by, and this is down south, and she just kind of stepped aside and kind of gave him a nod, and whatnot. She sees me, she's like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" And so you could see those tones and inflections and stuff like that, and how people react to different people of color. And we've seen the reverse. I was down in San Antonio with him, and I was the only white person at his mother-in-law's funeral. And I never, too much. No one was attacking me. No one came at me, but I could hear the rumbles until his daughter called me Cousin Brett. And that's what she always called me. And then at that point, it's like, oh, okay, he's okay. Of course, at the time, I'm dressed up in a suit, tie. It's 80 degrees. I'm wearing sunglasses, and I look like a Fed.
Yeah. Actually, speaking on that topic, not to get too deep, but they actually ran an experiment on Oprah a long time ago, which was actually really interesting. Mm-hmm. You were talking about how like the white woman kind of stepped aside, didn't say anything to him, but then she did talk to you because she felt okay around you. And what they found in the Oprah experiment is the control was to have, so you had, what would happen if there was a white person here? Would people of color talk to them? Would white people talk to them? And then they did the reverse, but then they did it same color. Mm-hmm. And what they found is even blacks would even avoid the blacks, but talk to the whites. They were also, there was a stigmatism there, mm-hmm. which was a very interesting study. And you could tell Oprah was shocked at the results. Like, wait a minute, I wasn't expecting that one, but it was just very interesting to see. Unfortunately, we live in a world where it doesn't matter what color you are. There's jerks, there's bad people, there's danger, there's no one color that owns.
Yeah, and the thing is, you hear this a lot from people. You hear this from like people, a lot of the left and different people. They always talk about love women, always just love each other, man. Just treat each other with respect. It shouldn't matter what anybody's color is, stuff like that. But the problem is that the most people that claim to be the most tolerant are some of the most racist people out there. And a lot of it has to do with fear. They allow fear to run their lives, fear to dictate stuff. And they're afraid of what certain people will say, as well as afraid of other people they don't know. And that's where a lot of the racism falls into, is fear that people live with. And personally, I don't care less. I don't care what color you are. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. If you're a jerk, you're a jerk. Right. You should get called out on that. But to hate somebody based on the color of their skin, based on their orientation, sex, and all that stuff, I don't hate you on that. But don't come at me, attacking me because of your fears.
But that's where comedy, the death of comedy, is. I think we're feeling it. Is comedy is something where when you can laugh, you can have a room full of people. Mm-hmm. And people of very different backgrounds can laugh at the same thing. It causes a bond, a unity, an openness to get to know the other person. And comedy is so important. I think that's why it's being under attack so much, is because I think certain forces out there don't want unity. They want to keep division going. And I think that's why comedy's under attack. But I'm glad to see comedians are fighting back. They're holding their ground. They're, So,
and they have to. I mean, between, like I said, Chappelle, between Chris Rock, even Jeff Dunham, he's definitely gets his stuff because of the stuff he does with the public, the stuff he does. He makes fun of everybody, and he's been using Walter as his president this year, since Biden got in. So, and you have to. And the thing is to say that, oh, you can't make fun of so and so because, or this person, but they can make fun of the other person that was in the same role. Right. That's where the hypocrisy comes in.
Right. Well, let's get on to fun topics.
Yeah, that was an interesting little
detour. We're good at detours.
Yeah. So we got season 2, episode 11 of
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Yeah, Metamorphosis.
What happened last week?
That's what I was trying to remember. See, I had to watch this week's episode, and I was like, oh, there's this one is a alien style. That's right, with the clone commander.
This ties back to the Rebels.
Yes.
That's right. We got into the Emperor's cloning program a little bit here.
Yes, and this is really setting up the cloning stuff here. So I see my connection indicator. I may pop out here and there just to let you know.
Okay.
Probably because I got too many windows open.
I'm trying to find. There was in this episode they come across there's a facility where they're keeping Omega held captive, and I believe that's the same facility that was revealed in Mandalorian season 2, the Emperor's cloning facility.
Mm-hmm.
It was like abandoned in that one. I'm trying to look it up.
Okay. Well, they run into the thing is they run into a Zillo beast from the Clone Wars, and basically about Palpatine, in this little thing here, Palpatine was messing around when he said he wanted the creature cloned. It was probably fine if it didn't escape the ship and start heading straight for the nearby village. But the Batch has to go and try to take it down. The Empire swoops in, they capture the beast. So that was the whole episode last week. But the whole fact that they brought in, we're seeing more of the Caminos.
Mm-hmm.
Or Kaminoans, I think is how they
Kaminoans,
yeah, because they have the research tech, but then they brought in now the former prime minister who they've been holding captive to try to convince her to actually work on. Because you can tell this is all that tying in that cloning for the Emperor.
Can't find the image. It's driving me nuts. I'm pretty sure it's the same place. Well, maybe that's a Navarro first. Yeah. Oh, that was on Navarro?
Yeah, wasn't it
that Navarro? The cloning facility was at? Yeah, that's right. It was on Navarro, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess the question was that last week's episode on Navarro? So Bad Batch, was it season 2, episode 11?
Yep. So here, let me pull up this dork side of the Force. They got questions. Why was the Empire cloning the Zillo beast? Well, that goes back to the Clone Wars.
It was a Force-sensitive beast.
Yep.
And was it Ahsoka that? I think it was Ahsoka that used the Force to calm it down.
I believe so.
But it was chasing after the Emperor. It was rampaging through Coruscant to chase after the Emperor, is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Try and find out where you're at.
Yeah, it was a pivotal episode because the premise of the whole episode really was now they're gonna, they when they get the Kaminoan prime minister and they want to control the scientists, they said the way to do it is they need to find Omega. So now the hunt for Omega is going to start. It doesn't start this week because I've already watched this week's episode, but this week I think is a pivotal episode that'll all tie into that anyways. But it was definitely it was fun. I mean, I'm enjoying every bit of this season. And it's one of those things where, I don't mind waiting week to week, but sometimes I'm going, oh, I need another episode right now. It's like I want more.
Well, and they go by so quick because it's meant for a half-hour format, so it's really only like 20 minutes of story. So it goes by so quick, and it's so well done.
It is, and you can see that the stuff that Filoni's doing here is going to be, I think, relevant in his Ahsoka series as well as what we're seeing in Mandalorian. It's not all going to be direct, but they're introducing things that we know took place even in the last 3 movies, but they're trying to give some backstory on all this stuff. So when they do whatever they're going to do with the stories going forward, they could tie some of that in.
Right.
And a lot of this is all stuff that was not new to the movies. It was stuff that was taken from the expanded novels. So it's nothing brand new. So
yeah, so we'll see where it goes. I do like that they're tying things into the prequel or the sequels, I should say. Just like in Mandalorian, we had those little guys that were the Baba Nu or whatever they're called. Those
Baba Freak.
Baba Freak. Yep. Repair guys. That was fun to see them incorporate a little bit of that, because really outside of that, I mean, prior we got like nothing that connects really to the sequel. So we are getting the cloning in there. We're getting some little characters. So
Yep.
I am curious. They do seem to have a big reveal every season that was unexpected, like when Luke showed up and stuff. So I do wonder, are they planning some massive reveal in this one that we don't know yet?
Now you're talking Mandalorian, or you're talking Clone or the
Mandalorian. I'm talking about. Sorry, I kind of moved forward.
Okay. Well, we might as well talk about the premiere of The Mandalorian then.
Yes, I really enjoyed last week's episode.
Yeah, it was a great jump into this. The one thing I think they messed up on was they didn't say, "Hey, this has been 2 years. There's time has passed." And they try to tell that with the when they go back to see Grief and the whole town's grown and he's not just in charge, but there's more to it. So the whole world is he's expanded it, but they didn't explain that it had been 2 years because it didn't feel like it had been 2 years because
So at least 2 years.
Yeah, at least 2 years. Yeah,
because it was Filoni or Favreau, I forget who now, confirmed Grogu was with Luke for 2 years training in that sequence that we see in Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, and while he's still a lot of the same that he was, I noticed in this week's episode, without getting into details of that one, he chatters a little bit more, still not making actual words. But last week you did see him start using the Force a little more. So, and he has a little more control of the Force, though he's chosen not to go the path of the Jedi. He's chosen to go the path of Mandalorian, as we saw in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yes. Traitor. Now, I thought only Siths deal with absolute. Here's Luke's like, you absolutely have to choose between this metal shirt and Yoda's lightsaber, and whichever you choose will forever alter your destiny.
Well, and I thought it was kind of interesting they went that route too, because I mean, like you said, Siths are only dealing absolutes, but I think absolutes are more of you will choose my way or no way, where he actually gave him a complete choice. Here's your paths, choose your path.
Yeah.
And if you go this way, you forget all this stuff. Because I mean, as a Jedi, you forget your attachments and things like that. Yeah. And then if you go the role of the Mandalorian, well, you go back to the Mandalorian and you follow that path. Mm-hmm. And they did kind of hint the fact of saying that, okay, his powers may diminish, but he's still using them. So don't see that happening. So there's still something that could happen Force wise.
Yep. Mandalorian wise, we got to see a cool battle between a whole bunch of Mandalorians against this giant alligator beast that comes out of the water. So that was cool. They canonized the child version of the Mandalorian helmet that's sold in toy stores. So we got that now.
Yep. And then we did see Bo-Katan. She's living in her castle on one of the moons around Mandalore. And she wants nothing to do with anybody. All her people have scattered. So she
evidently her whole day is just sitting on that throne now in solitude.
Pretty much. Wearing her armor.
Wearing her armor, sitting like this.
Yeah.
That's all she does now.
Yeah, that is my role. So, and then when he goes back though, because he wants to go on the whole after he meets up with the Mandalorians that he finds, of course, it's armor is the main one. He's of course called an outcast. And of course, we're seeing some of the Mandalorians there that we thought threw their helmets away. So
yeah, I feel like they're glossing over that.
They're
at the end of season 1. He was the only one that kept his helmet on. You see the pile of helmets because the rest fled into the mountains or wherever to get away. So what was that about? I feel like they just ignored that whole sequence.
Yeah, so I'm kind of curious about that myself and see what's going on there. Was it really their helmets or was it backup helmets?
What we learned,
when it starts to stink, do they switch helmets so they can air out the other one so nobody can see their face?
Right. What we learn is the Mandalorian comes across this artifact from the surface of Mandalore, and the belief is the whole planet is poisoned and no one can go back. And this artifact gives evidence that because somebody was there to get this artifact, maybe it isn't poisoned. And part of his atonement is he has to go to the mines of Mandalore and bathe in the living waters of the mines. And so everyone thought that was impossible. So that's the journey he's embarking on, is to find out if he can go on to Mandalore and find these waters.
Yeah, well, that's when he goes to see Grief, is because he he's a droid to test the air when he gets there, and the only one he trusts is IG-11, who is now a statue in the town square. So they try to fix him, and then he comes to life, and his old programming is there, sees the kid, and tries to kill the kid.
Yep.
So they have to.
You do have to be careful when reactivating assassin droids.
Yes. So they have to knock him out again, and then he's going to go try to find a chip for him, and that's what leads to this episode, which is him trying to find a chip for the IG-11. So,
yeah,
but it was a great episode. I thought it was a great start up to the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did briefly mention Cara Dune, that she's off world.
She working with the marshals or something, or
yeah, she was supposed to be the
sheriff
or whatever, but now she's gone. And then the other guy was mentioned too. What's his name? Timothy Oliphant. And he was off doing something else too, or something like that. So they explained real quick why they weren't there. I mean, still love to see her come back. Still love to have seen the show she would have done. So I think it would have been a fun show. But
yeah. Speaking of Star Wars too, about people not coming back. Did you see they've officially announced that Kevin Feige his movie's now shelved, and same with what was the other one?
You mean Kevin Feige's with Marvel?
He was supposed to be doing a Star Wars movie though.
Oh, was he? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they officially said that shelved, and there was another one.
So much crap on this stuff, and it's just ridiculous. It's like, okay, you've shelved everything. Quit acting like you haven't. There's nothing movie-wise in production right now. Even Taika Waititi's is not really in development.
Well, I wonder, though, if this is a sign that Kathleen Kennedy truly is on the way out, and once they're keeping the slate open for whoever comes in, so they have a clean slate to be able to move in the direction they want.
Yeah, Patty Jenkins' movie was shelved also, which is a shame, because hers is the one I was really looking forward to.
I know.
Taika Waititi is looking forward to star in his own film, supposedly, but
when they say that, do they mean a Star Wars film though, or just
that's what I was thinking? So that's what I thought they were talking about, Star Wars. And then I think that with Taika, he's friends with Favreau in them, and if Favreau and Filoni do get control of Star Wars overall, they may allow him to make a movie, but I think they'll keep him in check.
Yeah, I don't want him to make a movie. I hope he doesn't. I don't mind if he directs it, but I don't want him writing it.
Yeah.
But I would like to see is Dallas.
Bryce Dallas Howard, yes.
Or I mean Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
And even if her dad was part of it too, because he was part of Solo and he saved it, Ron Howard. I would love to see a Solo project with her and Ron Howard, maybe co-producing or making whatever.
Yeah, I'd like to see her dad producing it, her directing it,
and
them working with Kaz.
It.
Yeah, working with Kazan and all them writing it.
Or Kasdan.
And I think that would be it'd be good. Continue that story on. I'm looking at this article from Variety, which is one of the more sources you can actually trust on this stuff.
One of the movie trade industry sources.
It is the trades, and they're usually pretty much spot on with everything here. But yeah, it's Kathleen Kennedy announced for Patty Jenkins. The problem is that I like Patty Jenkins. I think she would have done a great Rogue Squadron one-off movie. Kathleen Kennedy, she needs to go. I mean, it's she's not done anything good for Star Wars. The movies really were not that good. The High Republic stuff that still keeps coming out, nobody's buying.
No one talks about it. Nothing.
Yeah,
nobody cares about it.
Yeah, so it's time for her to go retire and move on. She did, everything against George. It's a shame because George really gave her career. I mean, she was producing stuff right before she really got with George, but she really, I think, just slapped his face and just said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to take over and just completely destroy what you built." So, now of course, I mentioned here about the Taika Waititi. He continues to work on his possible Star Wars feature. Basically, that means he's probably just writing it. So, but I think that she needs to get her retirement done and out. Hopefully, Iger will push that on. And if Favreau doesn't want to be the head of Star Wars, of this stuff, they need someone that can actually help bring good stuff and allow people like Favreau and Filoni to create these great stories.
Yeah, my dream team is Favreau and Filoni together, where Favreau takes on the business end of Lucasfilm and Filoni is put in charge of the creative development of Star Wars, where he's the overseer, the protector of the canon, and anything done goes through him. Maybe he writes the main story arcs for everything, and then he can hire it out from there. Yeah. That would be my current dream team for Lucasfilm.
I think so. I mean, and you can see the only thing that Disney's had a hit wise. I mean, you can't take money because the money was easy for the movies because all the Star Wars fans were going to go see it regardless. But hit stuff that people are talking about that are spending money after the fact on and wanting more of is been The Mandalorian. And that ties into the Book of Boba Fett. Andor's done well. People really aren't talking about it as much. I liked Andor. I'm looking forward to the second season. It's a limited series where we know the second season's it. I think it's perfect to do something like that. You don't have to have a multi-year ongoing story for everything.
I really, though, hope on that end, we're tying into that part of the universe. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to Andor season 2. I like that it's going to be ending where Rogue One starts. I would love to see a series, though, a 1 or 2 season series of the blind one.
Yeah, he's been getting in the news lately. Yes, from Rogue Squadron. Was it Danny Yee? Is that his name?
Donnie. It's Donnie.
Donnie. Yeah.
But I can't believe I'm blanking on his. What was the character's name? Who's blind? And Baze Malbus is the other one. But I think them two together would make a fun duo. And you definitely have a story there. You find out.
Yeah, Donnie Yen played
Chirrut.
Imwe. Yeah.
But you could have them two together. They're a good buddy team. And the story could be about how Baze lost his faith in the Force. Yeah. There's a story there.
I think it'd be a great story on that. And I've been seeing stuff pop up recently because the character's been under attack from the cancel culture of cultural appropriation because he's Asian.
What?
Oh yeah, there's stupid stuff popping up on Facebook. So
wait, he's on. What culture did he appropriate? He played a martial artist.
I know they're trust me, it's all when you read it, it's like, okay, you guys don't know what you're talking about. They basically
so Asians can't play martial artists now?
Pretty much. I think they were trying to say they culturally appropriated Asians within the Star Wars universe. It's like, no, knock it off. So, but he's been popping up more and more. I think part of that's been coming up too because he's been talking about it. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see something with him because I think that right there, though. Yeah. The hardest part with Rogue One as a movie is I love the movie. Everybody dies. And these are all characters that we'd love to have seen gone on to do other things. Yeah. And that was a decision they made when they were filming. Like originally, I think some of them were going to survive. They're like, no, we never see them anywhere else. And if they're this part of the rebellion, they kind of have to be gone. Yeah. So they chose that. But now we need to go back and tell their stories. I'd love to see his story on being Force sensitive, where he came from. And his backstory as when he was younger versus how he got involved with the Force.
Well, and there's such an interesting dynamic there that has not been explored previously in that he is not a Jedi. He's an everyday person, but who is able to allow himself to be used by the Force. So he can't control the Force, but he has a deep enough connection to allow it to flow through him. And I really like that aspect. An interview he just was doing recently, he was talking about his most famous characters he's played, Donnie Yen, and he talks about Chirrut. And I guess originally the plan was just more of a martial artist character. And he's like, that's kind of just, it's been done. It's nothing special. And he came up with the idea of making Chirrut blind and making him sensitive to the Force in this way. And really key elements of who this character is came from Donnie Yen's thought process.
And I think it's what it is. A lot of this stuff is nothing new that I was seeing pop up. It's all rehashed stuff people are just, sharing, thinking that it's something new. But it's a ridiculous of you can't have any of this stuff in these movies anymore because it's not that culture, even though it's sci-fi. It's like, okay, you guys are being ridiculous on this. But yeah, his character was a lot of who he was. And Donnie, he's a great actor. He's been acting for a long time. I mean, he's about 60 this year, I believe. But he's been acting in the martial arts films, since the 70s. So
let's see. Yeah, I mean, he looks young for his age. Let's see, 1963. So yeah, 60 this year.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't not too shabby for 60.
No, he's a great actor. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff over the years. So it looks like he's gonna be in the new John Wick. He did all the Ip Man movies; those are great. R.I.P. Man, which was supposed to be about the fictionalized version of the teacher that taught Bruce Lee.
He said he asked his kids when he had the chance at doing this. He asked his kids, "Should I do another Ip Man movie or should I do Star Wars?" And like they started yelling, "Star Wars!" So he really did it for his kids because he wanted to do something that they would enjoy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's been in a bunch of stuff over the years. Stuff you can see, it was more. He did some Hong Kong films, and he's done the American versions of movies. Done like Shanghai Nights was one with. That came out with Owen Wilson, Jackie Chan 20 years ago. Wow, that's a long time. And he did all the Ip Man movies, which have done well. Iron Monkey was a good one he did. Once Upon a Time in China is a series of movies that was fantastic. So,
I mean, as far as martial arts males go, he's probably the biggest, most current active name. Like Jet Li was really big before, but like I don't think he's done anything in a while, has he?
No, and it's like even Jackie Chan's had to step back just because age is catching up.
Yeah. Well, now it seems like all the martial artist films, all the roles, they'll hire. What's her name? She's like in everything now. She was in everything. All.
Oh yeah. Michelle Yeoh, but Michelle Yeoh in real life is a badass. She cool ass. Even she's gotten older, she's just got another resurgence in her career. But yeah, Jet Li, he did a bunch of stuff. He I think he stepped back because of injuries. I think he, from getting hurt on set and things like that. He hasn't done a whole lot lately, if anything at all. He's another one, great actor. Not just a martial artist, but just an actor. I mean, these guys, just because you do the moves doesn't mean you can act. But they can actually act as well. But I think Jet Li, he hasn't really done anything in a long time,
unless he's been doing stuff overseas.
Yeah, I don't think he's been doing any of that stuff. I was trying to see when his last film was. It's been a while. Let me see here. He played the Emperor in the Mulan live action.
Oh, Jet Li's the same age as Donnie Yen.
Yeah, and he was in the last thing he did, Expendables 3 back in 2014. Did A League of Gods, and that night While We Dream played Old Servant. It was a short film in 2017, but he's pretty much looks like he's kind of retired.
Yeah.
And I remember reading he got injured a while back, and I think he decided to step back because he didn't want to, not be able to do anything. So
he also does wushu, like same as Donnie Yen.
Yeah. They between Jet Li, Donnie Yen, and even Jackie Chan, I think they all studied around the same stuff. A lot of it tied into the Hong Kong opera, and as kids, a lot of them were brought in and studied the martial arts, which was part of the opera and things like that. And definitely was kind of a brutal type thing to go through. You're almost basically fostered out to these groups. So,
right.
Well, we didn't talk about The Last of Us today, but last week's episode was really good. It was.
I've been really enjoying it. The direction it's going.
Yeah, Ellie is in this last one. Ellie is basically the central focal point, and they meet up with their version of Terminus in The Last of Us because they find out that this place has been eating humans, though most of them don't know. It's just their leader who claims to be a man of God, but is definitely a piece of crap. Because he goes.
Yeah, it's a good episode. We see Ellie defending Joel and taking care of him, whereas he was the defender before. She had to step up, and it's interesting. When you have good storytelling, you can have a very slow-paced episode and still have it be excellent and have the pace. The time flies by. It's not a fast-moving episode, but when it ends, you're like, already? Like, what?
Well, in the last 10 minutes, they ramp up everything quite a bit.
Yeah.
But
really
it was we got a lot seen in there. We're seeing the dynamics between Joel and Ellie. And I saw something on Twitter this week in that where Pedro Pascal had posted a video and she commented on it and stuff like that. And they through this journey, both were saying they became really close through this whole filming of this first season here. And he calls her Belly, for Bella and Ellie and all that stuff, and talk about how much how close it came, how tight they are now, and how much he goes, I just love her, we're family, and because they spent this entire time together. I mean, they're basically together the whole time. We had 2 episodes where it was Ellie by herself, but pretty much it's all centered around their characters. So definitely, I liked it a lot. And this coming up Sunday is the season finale.
Yeah, only one left.
Yep, and it's I looked up the game, so I do have a little bit of a spoiler on how the game is. They're basically following the first part of the game, part 1. Last of Us Part 1 is called. But if they're going to keep that pace, we're only going to have a couple seasons, and that's it. So
yeah,
we'll see. I'm hoping they do something different, so continue on after that. I think they will. I think we're going to see a big next season or something like that will be not game related as much, where this is sets up everything they need to be able to do whatever they want from there. And kind of spread off on their own, like they should do, kind of like a little bit like Walking Dead did, but hopefully better.
Right. Well, let's check in with our Kickstarter one last time before we end. We're here at 12:53, 23 backers. So I'm posting the link again here in the comment. So be sure to go check it out. There's a lot of great artwork in there. Over 50 illustrations, over 100 pages of content. How many artists are involved? 12? I forget.
10 artists.
10. So check it out.
Yeah, it's some great stuff. I think you guys will enjoy it. And I've had some people come to me and say, when am I going to do my own Kickstarter? Don't worry, I'm finishing up something right now. I'm working on it. Don't know if I'll do a Kickstarter, but I'll have something out this year for sure. But I'm part of this. So for those that follow me personally, I'm part of it. Same thing with Scott. For people that follow Scott directly, this may not be our actual Kickstarters, but we are part of this. It's not just Bardstone. It's our artwork is in there, some stuff we've done. So it's definitely you supporting Kevin on this. You're supporting all of us on this. So
for sure.
So definitely check that out. And we got 2 weeks. So 14 days to go. It's a short Kickstarter. So
short and sweet.
Yeah, get us to these stretch goals. You guys will like the stretch goals. I'd like to see what we can do for the ones that haven't been announced yet. So we need to go about another $2,000,
And if you've already backed it, thank you. Just click on that link though and hit the share buttons here.
Yep. Share,
spread the word.
And embed, you could use the link and share that on any social media you're doing, including like Instagram, stuff like that. So
help us defeat the algorithm by sharing it organically.
Exactly. So hey, we'll see you all next week. We'll update you on all the cool stuff we've been doing this past week, or the not so cool stuff, and whatever else we feel like talking about, as well as who knows. So hey, see y'all later. Bye.